What we have here on display are two vintage Fender Telecaster guitars. The guest who presented these two musical instruments was able to acquire them on different occasions at relatively low prices.
In a group on the road, a guy came in when we were rehearsing one afternoon, and he said, "I'm down on my luck, $50, you can have that guitar." So that's what I paid for it, and it's been mine ever since.
On the other hand, the second guitar was purchased for about $250 from a local music store. Displayed alongside these guitars is an original photograph, which captures members of the Beatles posing with the guest and his band members.
Wow. So we had a chance to visit with him a little bit. He wanted a photograph. Brian Epstein said, absolutely no photographs. None. Do not take that picture. Thanks to Ringo, he said, hey, take the picture. That's how quick it happens.
True to their names, these guitars were manufactured by the Fender Musical Instruments Corporation, founded by Leo Fender in Fullerton, California. Not only did Leo Fender found the corporation, his groundbreaking electric guitar designs, including the Telecaster 1950 and the Stratocaster 1954, revolutionized modern music. Interestingly, mahogany wood was used in crafting these guitars due to its balanced tonal qualities, workability, and lightweight nature. Moving on, one of these guitars is referred to as a Telecaster Custom, and it features binding around the edges. Unlike standard Telecasters, the custom model featured top and back body binding, introduced by Fender in 1959 to give the guitar a more refined look. Though both guitars have clear provenance, their originality further makes them even more valuable. In today's auction market, the appraiser estimates that these iconic Fender Telecaster guitars, together with the Beatles photograph, would command a price of
probably go for at least $30,000, maybe as much as $35,000.
Wow.
Today's guest presented an exceptional 1957 Fender Telecaster guitar with its original case. The piece originally belonged to the guest's father, who was a professional musician. He was also a Fender dealer, and the guest reminisced what it was like growing up with his father.
So consequently, I remember growing up in the 50s and early 60s, we had a lot of Fender equipment laying about the house. And I remember this particular package laying around the house. You just put them aside, rarely played it.
This particular piece is one of the most iconic guitars in music history. It was made by Fender Musical Instruments Corporation, commonly known as Fender, one of the most influential companies in the industry. Founded by Clarence Leonidas Fender, an American inventor, the company revolutionized music with its innovative electric guitars and amplifiers. This particular model has a clean and well-maintained appearance, featuring a blonde finish and an ash body. Additionally, the guitar also features a maple neck, a maple fingerboard, and two pickups. Its case is still in good condition and comes with the original label, hang tag, and Fender brochure. On the back of the guitar, there's a serial number that confirms this model's authenticity. However, there's a little wear observable on the lacquer of the fingerboard, but this wouldn't really affect its value. Considering the presence of its original components and also the collectability of Fender instruments, this guitar is estimated to be worth.
The retail value was close to $25,000.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. Really.
One guitar is a spark, but a collection is a symphony, resonating with the owner's heart and soul. A musician with a deep passion for fine instruments has assembled this remarkable collection of guitars, each crafted by the legendary Larson brothers. The Larson brothers were renowned American luthiers who founded the Larson Brothers Guitar Company in the early 20th century.
Carl and August Larson were Swedish immigrants who started business in Chicago in the late 1800s. They're kind of the unsung pioneers of the American guitar because they were the first builders, at least on any scale, to adapt the old traditional gut string flat top guitar and beef it up and make it withstand the tension of steel strings.
Their instruments are celebrated for their exceptional craftsmanship, meticulous attention to detail, and superior tonal quality. Among the highlights of this collection is a stunning harp guitar featuring 6 bass strings, originally marketed by W.J. Dyer & Brother. W.J. Dyer & Brother were a prominent music retailer based in St. Paul, Minnesota, known for branding Larson Brothers guitars under their own label. This particular harp guitar stands out for its big hollow arm and sub-bass strings, which produce a rich, sonorous, and mellow tone, making it a truly unique instrument. In terms of value, this extraordinary Larson harp guitar is expected to command a price of.
One like this is going to be about $5,500 retail.
Another exceptional piece in the collection is a rare 19-inch Larson guitar, likely crafted in the 1940s. Known as the Super Jumbo, this model was marketed under the Prairie State trade name. It represents the pinnacle of the Larson brothers' craftsmanship, blending innovation with exquisite design. The guitar features a mahogany neck, a bound fingerboard adorned with intricate inlays, and a commanding body size that enhances its tonal depth. The Super Jumbo is prized for its powerful, balanced tone, remarkable projection, and sustained resonance, making it a coveted piece among collectors and musicians alike. The estimated retail value for this impressive Super Jumbo Larson guitar is...
This one's going to cost you $22,000 to $25,000 retail.
Really great to hear the story behind the Larson brothers and the unsung heroes of these steel string guitars. Thanks so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
The experience of owning a guitar passed down through generations can be deeply moving and personal. This spectacular musical instrument was inherited by the guest from his uncle, carrying with it a rich history and timeless craftsmanship.
My father and his three brothers all played, and as kids we used to run through the parlor and listen to them all sitting around. It was a great time.
Remarkably, this guitar is the legendary Fender Telecaster, one of the most influential electric guitars ever created. Originally introduced by Fender in 1950 as the Broadcaster, the model was renamed the Telecaster in 1952 due to a trademark dispute with Gretsch drums. Fender, founded in 1946 by Clarence Leonidas Leo Fender in Fullerton, California, revolutionized the music industry with its innovative designs. The Telecaster quickly gained widespread popularity and became a defining instrument in early rock and roll. This particular Telecaster is known as the Blackguard Telecaster, distinguished by its signature black, single-layer pickguard, which gave the guitar its iconic nickname.
From 1953, in late 54, they changed to the white pickguard rather than the black.
Renowned for its crisp, twangy tone and exceptional playability, this Blackguard Telecaster remains one of the most sought-after vintage guitars among musicians and collectors alike. Another notable feature is the ashtray bridge cover, a metal cover designed to encase the bridge assembly, often removed by players for easy access to the saddles. Adding to the value of this collection is the original guitar case, crafted from pressed fiberboard, a durable composite material commonly used in vintage Fender instrument cases. Alongside the guitar is a Fender Deluxe Reverb amplifier, a classic amp beloved for its warm, tube-driven tone and built-in reverb. The Deluxe Reverb was designed as a more compact, portable version of the Twin Reverb while still delivering its signature sound. At auction, the Fender Telecaster guitar alone is expected to command a price of
$25,000
The rare original case will fetch an estimated value of
is worth $2,500 because they almost never survive.
The Deluxe Reverb amplifier will generate a strong return of
Amplifier, if being sold separately, is probably in that $2,500 range.
As a complete set, including the guitar, its original case and amplifier, this collection is estimated to bring a total value of
Probably have a package that could sell for at least $30,000 in today's market.
I would have never... it's definitely going to move out of the closet somewhere a little bit more important now. I know for sure it's going to move up the family line a lot.
A guitar's singular allure can be so captivating that a man might surrender one of his most prized possessions just for the privilege of calling it his own. This is precisely the case with this guest, who traded his Gisborne Birdland for this remarkable Mosrite guitar. Mosrite guitars are highly prized for their unique designs, exceptional craftsmanship, and unmistakable sound. They were the creation of Semi Mosley, a visionary American luthier, inventor, and entrepreneur who began crafting guitars at a young age. Mosley was a perfectionist, ensuring that every Mosrite guitar was built with meticulous attention to detail and superior quality. Interestingly, Mosrite offered a wide range of customization options, allowing musicians to create their ideal instrument, something evident in this particular guitar. Displayed beside the guitar is a photograph showcasing Mosley's signature, which was handcrafted into the inside of the instrument, an unmistakable mark of authenticity. One of the most fascinating aspects of this guitar is that it represents an early prototype of a Mosrite design.
This is all hollow. He called it the guitar with a built-in soul.
Created in the late 1950s, this prototype laid the foundation for the iconic Mosrite guitars that would later define the brand's legacy. Adding to its distinctiveness, the back of the guitar features a metal plate known as the Mosrite Zero-Fret tailpiece cover, a signature detail in many Mosrite models. While the guitar originally had some broken parts when acquired, these have been expertly replaced by the guest.
Had a couple things on it that had broken, like the pick guard and like the head thing, and so I replaced those.
However, this does not affect its value in any way, as Mosrite prototypes remain highly sought after by collectors. At auction, this rare Mosrite guitar is expected to generate a significant value of
Giannato retail $15,000, maybe more, but it's so unique that if it were in a different environment, who knows? And that's why I love seeing it.
The experience of owning a guitar passed down through generations can be deeply moving and personal. This guitar belonged to the grandfather of this guest, who was a musician.
Missouri at the time that he purchased it, just a few miles north of Memphis. I think he paid $225 for the guitar maybe and $25 for the case.
Interestingly, this stringed instrument is a 1955 Gibson Les Paul Special. The Gibson Les Paul was first introduced in 1952 by Gibson Guitar Corporation in collaboration with the legendary guitarist Les Paul. Gibson Guitar Corporation was founded in 1902 by Orville Gibson in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Gibson Guitar Corporation has had a profound impact on music history, shaping the sound of countless genres and musicians. One of such musicians was Les Paul, who was a guitarist, songwriter, and inventor who revolutionized the music industry with his innovative playing style, recordings, and guitar designs. The Les Paul Special was designed to be a more affordable, stripped-down version of the iconic Les Paul guitar. Interestingly, this particular guitar featured both a single cutaway and a double cutaway design, which makes this piece an exceptional find. Notably, the finish on this guitar is called TV yellow, which was only used for a limited time, making this guitar relatively rare.
Made this color specifically to look good on camera, good on TV.
Interestingly, the original case for this is also on display, further making this a perfect collection. Unfortunately, this guitar has some condition issues, which are not uncommon for an instrument of this age.
The tailpiece is original. It's been broken, but it hasn't fallen apart. Pretty common. Some rust and corrosion here and there. The frets are worn. The tuners are original.
However, despite these wears, this Gibson Les Paul Special guitar and its original case will generate an estimated value of
still between $10,000 and $12,000 in a retail environment.
Wow, I had no idea.
Guitars are truly one of the most fascinating and expressive instruments in the world, with a rich history, diverse designs, and a profound impact on music and culture. This stringed musical instrument belonged to the cousin of this guest's husband.
Husband's cousin. It's been in their family for a long time. My husband learned to play the guitar on it. My children learned to play the guitar on it. A friend of mine told me one time maybe I shouldn't let it stand in the corner in the case, and I said, why? And so it's always been a question about, is it real or is it not?
This guitar was crafted by C.F. Martin & Company, one of the most revered names in the guitar-making industry. Founded in 1833 by Christian Frederick Martin Sr. in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, the company has remained family-owned for 6 generations, with Chris Martin IV currently leading the legacy. Interestingly, this particular guitar was made in collaboration with John Cooper. John Cooper was a German-American luthier who partnered with Christian Frederick Martin in the mid-19th century. Together, they established a workshop at 385 Broadway in New York City, producing guitars and other stringed instruments.
You realize they weren't a big, huge company on the main street of town. They were upstairs.
This particular guitar features an ebony fingerboard, a popular choice among guitar makers due to its unique tone, playability, and aesthetic appeal.
The Stauffer headstock has beautiful engraving on it. Normally on this is a little bit lower end model. It's not real fancy. Normally it didn't have this headstock. To get the fancy headstock, you had to pay $1.
Another interesting aspect of this guitar is that it features a Stauffer headstock. The Stauffer headstock is a distinctive and historic design that originated with the Austrian luthier George Stauffer in the early 19th century. On the back of the guitar there is Brazilian rosewood, renowned for its stunning beauty and rich tone. Even after many decades since its creation, this guitar retains most of its original components.
Nicks, scratches, and dings, but all original finish, all original binding, original neck.
An estimation in the retail value of this Martin & Cooper guitar will be placed at
between $8,000 and $10,000.
Wow, really?
Really.
Cool.
Owning a guitar offers a unique outlet for creative expression, allowing individuals to convey emotions and ideas through music. This means of expression through music was inherited by this guest from his father.
Was he a player? He liked to play Hawaiian music. He liked to put these white suits on and with the sashes. And that basically was what he was interested in, was playing Hawaiian music.
Interestingly, this guitar is known as the 1924 Gibson L5 guitar. The Gibson L5, introduced in 1922, was a groundbreaking archtop guitar designed by Lloyd Law. Lloyd Law was a pioneering American acoustic engineer, musician, and instrument designer who began experimenting with instrument design and construction in his teenage years. He is best known for his groundbreaking work at Gibson, where he revolutionized the design and construction of archtop guitars, mandolins, and other stringed instruments. Gibson, founded in 1902 by Orville Gibson, is one of the most iconic and renowned musical instrument manufacturers in the world. This 1924 Gibson L5 is a highly sought-after, iconic guitar that represents the pinnacle of Gibson's early 20th century craftsmanship. It is a masterpiece of design, tone, and beauty, making it a holy grail for collectors, players, and enthusiasts. One striking aspect of this guitar is the presence of F-holes. Prior to this, many guitars featured oval or round sound holes. This model is considered a masterpiece of instrument design and is highly prized by collectors and players. Unfortunately, this guitar has some condition issues that affect its value.
It's got a refinish on it. Yes. It's got a reset neck and some binding changed.
With its condition issues, if this guitar were to come up at auction, it would fetch a price of
Probably about, I'd say, $8,000 in the market today, but a great piece.
Guests presented a silver ewer and basin used in a royal hand-washing ceremony. The guest's great-great-great-grandfather had saved King James V's life, leading to the family tradition. Sir Walter Scott organized a ceremonial hand-washing for King George IV in 1822 to honor that story. The silver pieces, including the original rosewater, were used in the ceremony. The ewer, made by renowned silversmith Paul Storr, dates to 1816, while the basin was made in 1821. These pieces were used for King George IV's visit to Edinburgh, which lasted 2 weeks. The tradition continues, with the pieces used for subsequent monarchs, including Queen Elizabeth II. The guest plans to ask King Charles III to continue the tradition in Scotland next year. Without the story, the silver set's market value is estimated.
Talking about current market value without the story, it's a substantial amount of money. We're looking at £30,000 to £50,000.
However, due to the royal connections and tradition, the appraiser valued it higher.
I don't want to frighten you too much. I would put a valuation on this of £100,000 to £150,000.
The guest emphasized that the pieces are priceless as they are essential to the family tradition.
But for us, the value is priceless because it's the only way we can do the service is to continue using the silverware that's always been used for it. So
yeah.
A vintage Rolex Submariner holds not only time, but a surprising story at an estate sale. A woman brought her father's Rolex watch to an appraiser. Her father had been a pipe fitter and a diver, which explained how he got the diver's watch. The appraiser identified it as a 1950 Rolex Submariner, a stainless steel model. The dial was original, though the band had been replaced, and it featured a rare meters first marking, usually for the European market. It also had pointed crown guards, indicating an earlier version of the model. The woman had no idea of its true value, guessing around $500 to $1,000. The appraiser shocked her by revealing its market value.
I would tell you that this watch in the market today, $12,000 to $15,000.
No way.
Oh, yes, way.
That is so not what I was thinking.
She was stunned by the unexpected appraisal. An old book of mugshots and records, likely on immigrant encounters. The book contains photos with names, birthplaces, dates, and arrest reasons. This police mugshot book documented arrests, including immigrants during a time of strict immigration control. Records included physical descriptions and crime details. The book recorded 2,500 criminals for ID and monitored suspicious immigrants.
I am absolutely staggered by the content of this book. I've never seen anything quite like it. This is a police record of people who came through the Cardiff docks.
Yes, that's right.
In early photography, mugshot books were vital for tracking individuals across precincts and cities. Immigration was viewed as a threat, leading to mugshot books and arrests for minor infractions. Mugshot bucks were standard, but declined with the rise of digital record keeping. Preserving these records helps analyze immigrant experiences and law enforcement tactics.
This is not something you can value. Let's see if we can add value to it by doing justice to the history of some of these people in this volume.
That would be wonderful, really would. Thank you.
Thank you.
A brief note from Oscar Wilde holds not only sentimental value but a potential auction price. Over the years, many rare letters have surfaced, some written by famous figures. A notable example is a small note by Oscar Wilde inviting a friend for supper. This particular letter holds personal significance for its owner, as it was a gift from her husband.
Note that was written by Oscar Wilde inviting one of his chums round for supper, and he lived in Tite Street, which is where I used to live, so this was given to me by my husband.
Oscar Wilde, renowned playwright, poet and author, lived on Tite Street, Chelsea.
Oscar Wilde is one of the greatest playwrights and also a poet and an author and a great letter writer. Yeah. And he lived in Tite Street in Chelsea in London.
Wilde lived in Chelsea between 1885 and 1895, a period during which he created many of his famous works. His witty remarks and bon mots are legendary. Among these were the picture of Dorian Gray, the importance of being earnest, and an ideal husband. Even though the letter is brief, Wilde's association makes it highly valuable. At auction, it's expected to fetch between £2,000 and £4,000.
So even though it's only a tiny note, I would expect this at auction to make between £2,000 and £4,000.
The owner is thrilled, not just because of the value, but due to its sentimental importance. A ring discovered by a guest while cleaning out their mother's belongings. The ring, found wrapped in a sock in a drawer, was believed to have been given to the guest's mother by their great-grandfather. The appraiser examines the piece and immediately recognizes its quality and historical significance. Made of platinum, the ring dates to around 1915.
It is absolutely superb. Made in platinum.
Okay.
It's about 1915.
Its nearly full-carat diamond features a transitional cut, giving it a softer, more sophisticated appearance than the sharper modern brilliant cuts. The appraiser notes that the diamond has a small natural flaw, known as a glitz, but this does not detract from its beauty. Despite needing a small repair on one of the claws that hold the diamond, the ring is in excellent condition. The appraiser values the piece at an impressive £20,000, much to the guest's surprise.
If you were at auction, this would be in the region of £20,000.
The rarity, craftsmanship, and size of the diamond all contribute to the ring's high value, making it a stunning and valuable heirloom. This unexpected find highlights the importance of family treasures and their potential worth. A prominent member of the Glasgow Boys, a group of Scottish modernist artists from the late 19th century, painting presented by Edward Atkinson Hornell. The painting was passed down from a family friend.
So thank you for joining us today, Alistair, and for bringing, while we're in Glasgow, a painting by one of the Glasgow Boys.
Who had it hanging in her tenement home in Glasgow. Art expert Alistair notes that this piece is from Hornell's most highly regarded period, the 1890s, which followed his influential trip to Japan with George Henry. During this time, Hornell incorporated Japanese printmaking techniques, evident in the upright format, foreshortening, and jewel-like color palette seen in the painting. The piece, featuring girls with balloons, is compared to other rare works from this era, including smaller themes of children at play, such as examples found in the National Galleries. The decorative quality and close focus on the children's faces and the balloons showcase Hornell's stylistic evolution influenced by Japanese art. Alistair highlights the scarcity of paintings from this specific period, adding to its collectible value. A comparable piece, much larger and more detailed, recently sold for nearly £30,000.
More involved painting, that went on to make just shy of £30,000.
Based on this, the expert estimates that the painting could fetch around £10,000 at auction, possibly more depending on the interest from collectors. The participant is pleasantly surprised by the valuation, which significantly enhances the sentimental value of the gift. This discussion illustrates how the painting's artistic significance, historical context, and provenance combine to make it a highly valued work. The story of young boys from Glasgow sent to a farm for education unfolded. These boys, known as home children, were part of a late Victorian philanthropic.
It was a story about a farm that had been set up as an educational facility for young lads. And it looks like the young lads were destitute, taken from Glasgow.
Movement between 1869 and the 1920s, which saw 100,000 children sent from Britain to Canada. The slides captured this effort, showing the boys not only on the farm but also boarding a ship bound for Canada. The program aimed to give destitute children a new start, but it raised questions about the lack of choice these boys had and the impact on their families. The boys became a significant part of Canada's growing population, though many of their descendants are unaware of this connection due to the shame surrounding the home child label. The slide collection was later acquired by Laurie Oshetsky, president of a Canadian charity dedicated to helping descendants trace their family history. These slides, praised for their exceptional quality, are unique in their clarity and historical significance. Through this collection, 15 boys have been identified, including Charles Gillis Lennox, who came to Canada in 1912 and served in World War I. Despite tracing his lineage, it appears Lennox had no surviving descendants. The collection continues to play a crucial role in uncovering the lives of these home children and connecting families to their past. Drew explores a fascinating shed filled with vintage industrial treasures where anything he can carry, he can keep. Drew enters a shed where he's told that anything he can carry, he can keep. As he begins exploring, he quickly spots an early 20th century steamroller and asks how long it's been there. The owner, who's had it for 15 years, admits it hasn't been fired up since his wife passed 6 years ago. The steamroller catches Drew's attention, but he soon shifts to other intriguing items. He admires a Phil Marshall Series 1, a piece the owner has had for 40 years, noting its original condition, dents, and old tires. Moving further inside, Drew finds a pair of Norton cast-iron bench ends from the mid-20th century. He realizes they could be converted into a stylish kitchen table.
These Norton cast-iron bench ends were made in the mid-20th century, with a tabletop added to them.
Despite wanting to buy them immediately, he hesitates out of politeness and continues browsing. Drew also notices a vintage Black & Decker bench drill, commenting on its power to drill 2-inch holes. In another part of the shed, Drew comes across sock knitting machines from a local factory, sparking his curiosity. He then spots a 1950s industrial work stool with a circular hardwood seat and a 6-blade metal base. After some negotiation, he buys the stool.
It's quite astonishing what he's done here, really. So a lot of people, they'll go, well, it's just a load of old stuff. It's not. This is our industrial heritage at its rawest form.
Finally, Drew revisits the Norton bench ends and negotiates a deal, purchasing the pair for £150, satisfied with his finds. In the end, Drew leaves the shed with several unique industrial pieces, appreciating the rich heritage behind each item he purchases. A rare African drum from a 1929 film safari amazed its owner with an amazing valuation. A guest brought a drum.
This came from my father. He brought it back from Africa. He was there making a film in 1929.
His father was there filming Trader Horn, the first talkie made in Africa. The guest's father, who later became the Cisco Kid, traveled over 30,000 miles during the safari. The drum from the Tatela tribe in the Democratic Republic of the Congo caught the guest's attention since childhood. The appraiser noted its unique craftsmanship and estimated it was made in the late 19th or early 20th century. The drum was likely used in ceremonies and had significant wear from age. The guest had a customs receipt showing his father brought it back for $10. The appraiser valued it, leaving the guest amazed.
It's very rare. It's one of those sort of find me another moments. And I'm really conservative with my prices. And I think probably between 4,000 and 6,000 retail.
Robson Green embarks on a scenic 2-day canal boat adventure in the Yorkshire Dales with his brother David and Uncle Matson. Their journey begins with a visit to the famous Ribblehead Viaduct.
An hour's drive from home to the Dales and Fells of North Yorkshire.
The family marvels at the engineering feat and enjoys a peaceful moment reflecting on its history. Robson's love for the outdoors and family time is evident as they explore the stunning Yorkshire landscapes. They soon board a 57-foot narrowboat, the Burnell, along the Leeds-Liverpool Canal. The family learns the basics of navigating through calm waters. The slower pace offers a relaxing contrast to their typically busy lives. As they pass through the countryside, they operate swing bridges and locks, further enjoying the tranquility of the trip. Rainy weather doesn't dampen their spirits, as cups of tea and humour keep them going. The journey brings back memories of past holidays, allowing Robson and his family to bond.
Just taking it easy through the Yorkshire Dales. It's a nice way to see the Yorkshire Dales, but what we're about to do...
David even catches a fish, adding a touch of adventure to the experience. The peaceful canal trip becomes a much-needed chance to unwind. Robson expresses his appreciation for time spent with loved ones. The adventure reaches its highest point when the family abseils down a cliff at the Cow and Calf Rocks. Though nervous, they overcome their fears and complete the challenge. This sense of achievement rounds off their trip perfectly. Robson highlights the joy of slowing down and enjoying life's simple pleasures. The journey becomes a meaningful and memorable escape for the family. A guest reunited a rare 1916 baseball trophy with its original photo. A guest shared a photo from the late 1990s or early 2000s. He found it in an antique store.
This is a photo that I got in the late 1990s, early 2000s in Silver City, New Mexico when I lived there.
The picture showed a baseball team and a trophy. Years later, his father saw a similar trophy labeled Chino Mines. The guest bought it and realized it was the same one. The trophy was from the 1916 Santa Rita team. It was made of sterling silver, which is rare for industrial items. The appraiser valued the photo.
I'd put the value on this one at auction at $2,000 to $3,000.
Okay.
The trophy was worth $12,000 to $16,000. Drew Pritchard visits an aircraft salvage yard to find odd and stylish pieces. He is searching for items to repurpose for commercial or domestic use. His goal is to convert aircraft parts into unique furniture or decor. Wings, for example, can be transformed into desks or works of art. Cockpit seats, valued at £5,000, have potential as statement pieces.
The aircraft reached the final stage of their life.
Blimey. That's a cool piece. Safe.
Smaller finds like galley trays, priced at £25 each, catch his eye. These trays stand out for their versatility and practicality. Drew is looking for items that can be easily converted and sold. Chairs and lamps are also on his radar for quick sales. Despite encountering some high-priced items, he decides to buy 3 gallery trays. He envisions them being used in shop fittings or home bathrooms. Although there are only a few available, the trays are functional and attractive.
This is what a dead aircraft looks like.
This is it. Now, this is the end of it. Like, this is finished.
Yeah.
You're going to cut this one up?
This one's going to be cut up.
Drew believes they are a worthwhile investment. He leaves the yard with a new contact for future purchases. Overall, Drew is satisfied with his creative and useful finds. A collection of vintage watches, likely by Paul Flato, a renowned American jeweler. They belonged to her husband's avant-garde great-aunt, who gifted them to her. Flato blended luxury with whimsy, creating pieces that were both functional and decorative. Paul Flato, jeweler to the stars, created playful, elegant watches for Hollywood celebrities. The watches reflect Flato's innovation, with one featuring a flexible gold band and a simple round dial. The watches reflect Flato's flair for diverse, innovative designs.
And here you have a little purse. It almost looks like a Hermes, Birkin, or Kelly, something along those lines. And it's so cute, and then you open it up, and the surprise inside is you have a watch.
Right.
A stunning 1940s flexible rib bracelet has calibrated sapphires, while another piece features steel wrapped in leather. This is a striking 1940s retro watch with calibrated sapphires at the end.
This watch alone is worth, at auction, $10,000 to $12,000.
Oh, my word.
The old mine cushion-cut diamond ring showcases the collection's luxury and antique charm. They have irregular cushion-shaped facets and are often found in vintage jewelry.
I got to tell you, in today's market, this ring would probably sell at auction for $200,000 to $250,000.
Oh.
Also, the exquisite craftsmanship of watches led the appraiser valued the item.
Put the whole collection together, you have 4 of them. At auction, $15,000 to $20,000.
Oh, my.
Come with Drew as he explores rare antiques. Just a short distance from the shipbuilding district lies On the Square Emporium, one of the largest antique warehouses in Ireland, owned by dealer Justin Lowry. The Emporium offers a wide range of items, from Irish period pieces to mid-century designs. Having operated for 7 years, they moved to a new double warehouse 4 years ago, now boasting over 14,000 square feet filled with antiques. During their visit, Drew Pritchard discovers several unique pieces. He first examines a George II plum mahogany chest of drawers from around 1740, which retains its original ebonized handles. After negotiating, he purchases it.
8.5. 8. I'll do it. Thank you very much.
Planning to spend another £400 on restoration. Next, Drew finds a quirky mid-19th century Scottish hat and coat stand made from mahogany. He appreciates its unique details and buys it.
So what's the damage on that one then? 595, what can you do?
Do 500.
4.5?
Done.
Sorry,
4.5.
thank you.
He then spots a double-sided pitch pine locker room bench from an Irish golf club, showing signs of wear, which he acquires for £380. A hand-carved wooden West African tribal mask catches his eye next. Dating back to the 19th century, it is a female initiation mask from the Bunda tribe in Sierra Leone. Drew decides to take a chance on it for £300, drawn in by its sculptural quality. Finally, he discovers a large shallow planter and pedestal made of composition stone, settling on £300 for it as well. Reflecting on the day's success, Drew is pleased with his finds in Northern Ireland and appreciates Justin's impressive antique collection. This woman brought a diamond sautoir necklace and earrings from 1905. The necklace was given to her grandmother with a picture of her wearing it. The necklace looked shorter from when it was worn by the guest's grandmother. The removed pieces were used to make earrings. The metal is platinum, and there are cuts of diamonds which are mostly European cuts, and the center has 2 carats worth of diamond. The estimated value of the necklace and the earrings together is $20,000 to $30,000.
The necklace and earrings together, if they came up in auction, we would value them somewhere between $20,000 to $30,000.
Amidst the charming relics of the Lake District, Drew and Tom embark on a treasure hunt that promises rare finds and unexpected deals. Drew and Tom are setting off on a buying trip together. Their journey takes them north to the picturesque Lake District.
Today, Toms, we are off to meet a very nice man called Chris, who runs the Lakeland Motor Museum, which I went to about a decade ago.
Yeah, I think I remember you talking about that.
Drew is keen to show Tom the ins and outs of buying antiques. They're headed to the Lakeland Motor Museum to explore its treasures. The museum boasts an impressive collection of 30,000 exhibits.
Though the museum dates to the 1970s, it moved to its present site in 2010, with a mission to rev up some very special motoring memories for visitors.
Chris Lowe, the museum manager, is well acquainted with Drew. Chris recalls Drew's previous visit and their shared interest in antiques. Museums often need to clear out surplus items for various reasons. Drew is particularly interested in some vintage industrial lighting. Chris offers him the lighting at a price of £150. After some consideration, Drew decides to buy it for £150. They also come across a Meccano model of the famous Bluebird car. Drew is thrilled to find the Malcolm Campbell Meccano set on display. Chris prices the Meccano set at £175, which Drew agrees to pay. Drew purchases the Meccano set for £175, delighted with the find. Among the items, they discover American bud vases from the 1950s. Drew negotiates with Chris and buys the vases for £175. They also spot a beautiful glazed copper display case at the museum. Drew decides to buy the display case for £350, appreciating its quality. Rebecca is visiting Christopher Littledale at the city's Toy and Model Museum, intrigued by Drew's purchase of the Meccano car. This Joshua Reynolds attributed drawing from 1780 was given to the guest by her parents who brought it to England. Joshua Reynolds was a prominent painter in the 19th century. His name is inscribed below the painting. The picture features a smiling young girl. The picture is estimated to be valued between $10,000 and $15,000.
A really beautiful example of his work.
On Salvage Hunter's classic cars, Drew Pritchard and Paul Cowland are tackling a challenging restoration project. Drew is passionate about conserving the original patina of a 1961 Carman Cabriolet VW Beetle. The car is rough but genuinely rust-free, a rare find given its age. Drew aims to preserve its authenticity despite the high cost and time required. Paul, the experienced car dealer, is concerned about the feasibility of this approach. The car's price was negotiated down to £11,000. This price reflects its unique rust-free condition and original panels, despite lacking an engine and gearbox. A reconditioned 1200cc engine was sourced for the car. Expert opinion is being sought to understand the full extent of costs and work required for Drew's vision. They have received a birth certificate from the Auto Museum detailing the car's original specifications.
This is from the Auto Museum Volkswagen, giving all the options, the day it was made, the day it was delivered, who bought it, where it went to. You know, it's a wonderful thing to have.
The document revealed the car originally had an olive green HUD, not the current black one. Mark Walker, a specialist in classic VW restoration, has 25 years of experience preserving originality and patina.
Restorer Mark Walker has spent 25 years preserving the originality and patina of classic VWs.
He plans to strip black paint from a Beetle to reveal its original yellow and grey primer. The paintwork is estimated to cost around £6,000 to £7,000. Drew, the owner, is managing costs, noting the final value could exceed £20,000. And Eden Saw, known as Mr. Whitewall, is tasked with adding whitewall tyres for £160.
It will look right.
So how much is that then for 4?
For 4, £160.
Okay, let's do it.
And uses a special rubberized paint to ensure the tyre's durability. Drew initially disliked the thicker white stripe, but added a red stripe for authenticity. After several attempts, Drew opted for a single red line, following Yant's advice. Lee Southerton of Vault Magic in Birmingham provided a rare Pope's nose part for £125. The Pope's nose replaced an incorrect number plate light, avoiding a £1,500 expense. Mark saved much of the Beatles' original paint, revealing well-preserved sections. Steve Parsons was hired to blend new paint with the original patina. Steve's technique adds layers to match the aged look of the original paint. This man brought a Harry S. Truman archive retrieved in 1955. His father was the chairman of the Truman Library section in the early 50s. Harry Truman was the former vice president and 33rd president of the United States. The archives include correspondences, images of his father and Truman. The letters include appreciation of his father's efforts by Truman and communications regarding donations to the Presidential Library. It also features an autographed letter from the guest to Harry Truman and a memoir of Truman which was signed to his father. The entire archive is valued between $8,000 and $10,000.
So altogether, I would say insurance value you'd be looking at about $8,000.
Oh my God.
Yeah, about $8,000.
Drew Pritchard explores a warehouse filled with vintage items, searching for unique pieces. The first item that catches his eye is a pair of carved Welsh slate pillars from the late 19th century. These pillars are particularly attractive to interior and garden designers. Their age and excellent condition add to their appeal. Though valued at up to £200, Drew manages to buy them for just £50. Next, he discovers a rare height-adjustable rattan chair. The chair was made by North England School Furnishings Limited in the late 19th century. Its twin-pillar support and adjustable base make it a unique find. The chair is estimated to be worth around £350. It also features a distinctive maker's mark and a steel spring mechanism. Drew is intrigued by the chair's original and unusual design. However, he notes that the chair is quite uncomfortable to sit in. Despite this, he believes it will appeal to a design-oriented buyer. The chair could be a striking addition to a modern or minimalist room. It would add a touch of vintage charm and character. Drew is pleased with both of his finds. He recognizes their potential to transform any space they are placed in. This guest brought an art sculpture of roots, which he purchased from the garage of a home sale. It is a piece of folk art with an incredible appeal traced to 1890 or 1900. It has spooky tree designs around it. The sculpture looks fascinating and mysterious. Several designs of snakes, cats, and birds are on the tree. The sculpture is estimated to be valued between $30,000 and $50,000.
That's incredible. That's really welcome news.
Drew scores a 19th century elephant and rare lyre music stand at Canterbury Antiques. Drew had a successful day as he travelled 35 miles northeast into Hertfordshire, where he visited Canterbury Antiques. The shop, run by Angela Morrison and Amy Harrington, has been in the family for 60 years and specialises in a mix of antiques, reproductions, and new items. Drew, who had previously dealt with the father Martin, was excited to explore the large collection. Among the items that caught his eye was a carved elephant sculpture from the 19th century, originating from Myanmar. The elephant, with its punched surface and intricate carvings, impressed Drew, and he successfully negotiated a price for it. In addition to the elephant, Drew discovered an unusual music stand, carved in the form of a lyre, a shape inspired by an ancient musical instrument. Despite being incomplete, missing its shelf, Drew saw the potential in the piece and agreed to buy it.
Do it 320, and I've got a little bit of a drink. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Deal on that?
320, let's have it.
Both items were unique and diverse, fitting Drew's taste for distinctive antiques. The day was a productive one, and Drew left pleased with his two purchases. He admired the craftsmanship of the items and was confident they would sell quickly, either as decorative pieces or functional furniture. As he departed, Drew expressed satisfaction with his finds, calling it a brilliant day filled with good buys and enjoyable company. The guest inherited the Princess Cup from her husband's aunt, referred to as a zarf, an Ottoman coffee glass holder. It's crafted from 18-karat gold, enameled and adorned with old mine-cut diamonds, likely dating to the late 19th century during the Ottoman Empire, as a coffee holder. These ornate objects were often seen as symbols of status, and were sometimes gifted to courts and high-status individuals. The zarf cup is valued between $3,000 and $5,000.
Wow. Wow. really surprised, and Pat would be so happy.
Join Drew in Brighton's antique scene, where hidden gems await to be seen. Drew travelled to Brighton to meet Anthony Whittingham, known as AW Antiques. Although they had never met, their 3 years of social media banter promised a fun visit. Drew admired the shop and learned that Anthony started in antiques at 17, inspired by dealers at his father's pub. After a corporate job, he returned to antiques after losing his job. Drew noticed every item in the shop was carefully chosen. As they browsed, Drew spotted a beautiful brass mirror, adorned with polished stones, priced at £200. Anthony also showed Drew an unfinished bronze mask, which intrigued Drew, who recognized it as a potential bargain.
Well, worked in that, but I've always bought and sold since I was 17. And then I got made redundant, and my wife said, "What are you going to do now?" She said, "Well, clear everything out."
Delighted with his finds, Drew discussed a unique walking stick, a folk art piece priced at £350. After some light-hearted negotiation, Drew agreed to buy the stick for £400.
What did you say? 350. Can't knock you. No. 350.
You've got one of my favourite.
Do you want to buy it?
He felt confident there was a profit to be made from it. They continued exploring and came across vine root lamps, which Anthony offered for £300, acknowledging he had paid more for them originally. Drew appreciated their quality and decided to buy them. As they wrapped up the day, Drew reflected on the successful trip, knowing there was profit in each piece he purchased. He felt particularly excited about the walking stick, which he viewed as priceless despite its low production cost. This guest brought a view of Des Moines print of 1850, which she had brought from a home sale 37 years ago. Some of the stories of Des Moines are highlighted in the picture, including the early settlers to the town like Callanans. The art is created and authenticated by a local artist, W.H. Wheeler, and this particular lithograph is listed in a reference book Views and Viewmakers. The print is the first bird-eye view of Des Moines. This retail price is worth between $3,000 and $4,000.
There are people that would certainly pay that. Yeah.
Wonderful.
EMA excitedly reveals her latest find, immediately sparking curiosity from the group. As he unveils the item, everyone's eyes widen. It's an Austin J40 pedal car, modeled after the classic Austin A40 and famous for its exceptional craftsmanship in the 1960s. These pedal cars weren't just toys. They were built by disabled miners and came with incredible details, like a faux engine under the bonnet. Back in the 1950s and 60s, they were a dream come true for children, with a whole factory in Wales dedicated to producing these mini versions of the A40. Shere Khan, the dealer, quickly sees the potential for something even more extraordinary. He suggests transforming the Austin pedal car into a custom version of the iconic Jaguar XK150. The idea of turning this cherished toy into a sleek tribute to one of Jaguar's most beautiful and fastest cars gets everyone buzzing with excitement.
It's a pedal car based on an Austin, but even that, they've altered all the proportions already to turn it into a pedal car. And now I'm going to alter the proportions to turn it into something else, of something that's already had its proportions altered.
Ted, the mechanic, is tasked with the transformation.
I can see why you brought me here.
Looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah. Do you want to have a look? Oh, yes, please.
To fuel his inspiration, Shere Khan arranges a visit to Twyford Moors, a vintage Jaguar specialist. Ted even gets a test drive in a real XK150, reigniting his passion for classic cars and sharpening his vision for the project. Back at the workshop, Ted gets to work. He begins by cutting away the excess material, lowering the body and removing the wings to give the car a sleeker, more aerodynamic look. Every adjustment, from reshaping the silhouette to altering the proportions, draws on Jaguar's racing heritage. After hours of meticulous work, Ted reveals the finished pedal car, now a stunning tribute to the XK150. The transformation leaves Shere Khan in awe. The craftsmanship is flawless, and the creative homage to the legendary Jaguar has everyone impressed. Confident in its appeal, Shere Khan knows this unique piece will catch the eye of collectors and values Ted's handiwork highly. This woman brought a Steuben hunting scene vase, circa 1930. Her father brought it and gave it to her. It was made by Frederick Carter, who came to the United States in 1903. This particular piece is a cased piece and it is mirrored black, over an alabaster lead vase which is called the Hunting Man. It always takes Frederick Carter over a year before he could produce any of his work. It is the kind of vase that men will covet, with several animals around it. The value of the vase is somewhat between $3,500 to $5,000.
Wow.
So I imagine,
Yeah, that's good.
I guess we could say it was a good buy.
Yeah, good eye, Dad.
Drew heads to a historic railway station, uncovering forgotten treasures ready for a second chance at life. Drew took a 6-hour trip to Beerferrers, near Plymouth, Devon. His stop was the Tamar Bell Railway, owned by Chris. Chris spent 30 years restoring the station, and he turned it into a heritage centre full of old artefacts. Upon arrival, Drew was struck by the station's charm and began exploring its many treasures. He was introduced to a variety of railway relics, including lamps, a working signal box, vintage trunks, and even a ventilator from a carriage roof. Drew's first interest was in a set of enamel lampshades, made by Benjamin Electric Manufacturing. These shades had never been used, and after some negotiation, Drew purchased 4 of them.
And I get all the parts.
150.
And I get the parts.
Yep, 150 including all the parts.
Wonderful, thank you very much.
As they continued their tour, Chris showed Drew other fascinating items, such as old wicker baskets, handrails from guards' vans, and a very rare casting piece. Drew was particularly drawn to the wrought iron door handles, originally used to pull open train doors. After inspecting 21 of them, Drew negotiated a price for the whole lot, having initially offered £10 each.
It says 20 of them.
Yeah?
What would you like for them?
And there's 20 there?
20, yeah. Do you want to check?
Drew was captivated by the collection and delighted with his finds. His purchases included the 4 enamel lampshades and the 21 wrought iron door handles. They are all now destined to be repurposed and given a second life. This guest brought a Philbert Léon Couturier oil painting of 1875, which she inherited from her uncle. The painting is believed to be a painting of an Aesop's fable story of Belling the cat. It featured the mice trying to get rid of the cat, but no one wants to execute the plan, who also signed on the oil painting. Couturier works around that era like this is a critic of politicians.
It's probably having a go at some of the politicians of that time as well. They have great ideas, but they can't really follow through and nobody really wants to do them.
This sneaker is worth between $3,000 and $5,000. Steve turns old, dusty tables into beautiful heirlooms. Steve and Guy meet to tackle the restoration of a pair of old tables found in a loft, untouched for over 50 years. Upon inspection, Steve determined they were mid-Georgian, likely crafted from Cuban mahogany. He admired the intricate inlay work and noted that the tables were part of a larger banqueting suite commissioned by Guy's ancestor in the early 1800s. After dusting the tables, Steve began a thorough cleaning with methylated spirits, revealing the beauty hidden beneath years of grime. This process restored the wood's natural oils and improved its appearance. Next, he filled the open grain using a thixotropic grain filler, which hardens after application, ensuring a smooth surface for the final finish. For the finishing touch, Steve applied a traditional French polish using a shellac-based button polish. This gave the tables a vibrant, reflective quality as the finish dried. After several days of meticulous work, Steve loaded the restored tables into his van and returned to Boxted Hall.
So it's just one sealer to start with, and then we start to build it up with the hand polishing.
Guy eagerly awaited the table's unveiling. When revealed, the stunningly restored pieces were unrecognizable. Steve had transformed the dusty relics into beautiful heirlooms for the dining room, which Guy was excited to display. This guest brought a faience manufacturing company vase of 1886. It was given to her by her boyfriend's stepfather, which he inherited from his first wife. It is an aesthetic Japanese pottery with intricate designs. Though it was made in the United States, New York precisely, it has nice flowers and butterfly designs across the body, with a nice articulate build-up to the top. It has the maker's mark right at the bottom. This vase is worth between $1,500 and $2,500.
Oh, Evie and Jean are going to be happy.
Wow. So that's what's happening to a faience manufacturing company. The value is going up.
Drew visits White's Antiques, where he's immediately impressed by the clean and organized environment ideal for showcasing high-quality antiques. The shop owner, a restorer by trade, has created a space that beautifully presents the pieces, blending history with modern appeal. Drew is particularly drawn to a repainted sideboard, originally a tired, polished mahogany piece. The shop owner's restoration work transformed it into an authentic, period-correct piece, with oak drawer linings and backboards that reflect the craftsmanship of its time. However, Drew's attention quickly shifts to an antique naval campaign chest, which stands out due to its diminutive size and roped sides. The chest embodies campaign furniture at its purest, designed for durability and portability, perfect for military offers during the British Empire's expansion. Drew admires its simplicity and practicality, qualities that make the campaign furniture highly desirable for modern interiors. After some negotiation, Drew purchases the chest for £960, recognizing its historical significance and potential resale value. Although it requires some restoration, Drew sees great potential in the piece.
That is nice. Naval campaign chest. Yeah.
I've got one of my favourite pieces of furniture that I own.
In addition to the chest, Drew also acquires a stunning Murano glass table lamp from the 1950s. The lamp, made with gold dust sprinkled into the glass, adds a touch of elegance and luxury to his collection. Drew prefers to buy and flip items for a profit, and this lamp fits perfectly into his strategy. Meanwhile, Al focuses on selling unrestored items quickly for smaller margins. Drew's affinity for campaign furniture, especially lacquered pieces, shines through as he discusses its timeless appeal. The naval chest, with its high-quality manufacture and minimalist design, is a key highlight of the visit. Both Drew and Al bring a fresh perspective to the shop, leaving the owners appreciative of their approach and business insights. The day concludes successfully, with Drew acquiring pieces that combine historical value and strong market potential. This man brought a British 125th Regimental officer's coat believed to be from 1795. It was prominent in the Revolutionary War period. It is also accompanied by the breeches which have been cut to preserve it. It is an officer's coat from the 125th Regiment, which only existed from 1794 to 1796. The brass buttons were formerly gold. A closer look at the arms also showed the cuffs and lace. A spin around reveals details of the false pockets. And finally, it has a Stanford Regiment logo. The coat is worth between $7,000 and $9,000.
Gobsmacked. Yeah, it's a great piece.
Whoa.
Like I said, the condition is just wonderful.
I knew it was in good condition.
Discover the hidden gems of English country house antiques with Drew and Vicky as they explore James Wilson's exquisite collection at Repton & Co. Drew and Vicky visited Repton & Co., an English country house antiques dealer known for traditional and eclectic items. The shop is owned by James Wilson, who has been in the business for 6 years.
Repton & Co. is spearheaded by James Wilson, the eldest son of an antiquing family.
James specializes in architectural salvage, garden antiques, and items that catch his fancy. He aims to buy and quickly sell items for small profits, but will hold on to more valuable pieces for better returns. James's collection includes a stunning recumbent whippet priced at £4,500.
To her contemporary competitor, John Blashfield, it could be worth around £4,500.
Drew was immediately drawn to the beautiful stone hound and considered it a potential buy. James also had a piece of Murano glass, rewired and priced at £4,500. Another item of interest was a gilt metal base lamp with a rococo form, priced at £3,500. Drew was impressed by James's collection, noting every piece had merit. Drew decided to buy the gilt metal lamp, the Murano glass piece, and the neoclassical table light. He also expressed his desire to purchase the stone hound, emphasizing its exceptional quality. James was pleased with Drew's choices and agreed to the sales. Drew and Vicky appreciated the thoughtful curation of James's collection. This man brought a quirky sideboard. He inherited it from his aunt, and it looks magical and mysterious. It is an unconventional piece of furniture, and one of the differentials are the materials. It has an amazing hinged side showing different woods combined for one furniture. Finally, the handles are Victorian-era design. It is worth about £100 at auction.
That's great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What makes an antique special? Is it the age, the craftsmanship, or the stories it carries? Today we're diving into one such piece. A simple leather bucket with a rich history. Picture an old English estate, complete with grand fireplaces and sprawling gardens. But after centuries of use, it had seen better days. The handle was broken and it could no longer hold water.
Their fire buckets were widely used in large country houses and filled with water or sand for dousing dangerous flames.
Enter Martin, a skilled leatherworker with a passion for restoring antiques. He saw potential in the worn bucket and knew it could be revived. His first task was to remove the old copper rivets holding the broken handle. Using the original piece as a pattern, Martin cut a fresh leather strap for the handle. Once satisfied, he secured the handle with new copper rivets, hammered and domed to perfection.
You do your beautiful work to it.
No problem.
All yours. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
There's not loads of money left in the bucket. But the more you get into the antiques business and the more you know about it.
But the bigger challenge remained, making the bucket waterproof again. He melted tar, the same material used centuries ago for waterproofing, and carefully applied it inside the bucket. The tar set quickly, so he had to work fast, spreading it evenly in layers. To smooth the rough texture, Martin used a blowtorch, giving the interior a glass-like finish. The restoration was nearly complete, but would the bucket actually hold water?
We've got to do exactly the same with the side of the bucket. It's a tired red. So this is just a cleaner and sealer, water-based again.
The next day, Drew, the owner of the bucket, arrived to inspect the results. Drew was thrilled. The new handle blended perfectly with the old leather, and the interior was pristine. But the true test came when Drew filled the bucket with water. Not a single drop leaked through. The restoration was a success. The bucket, once purchased for £200, was now worth around £600. With that, Drew's visit was successful, and he looked forward to more restorations. Drew and his team embark on a trip to Hungary, starting with a visit to Budapest's largest flea market. Drew is immediately struck by the rich mix of antiques, art, and Soviet-era memorabilia. His first notable find is an oil-on-canvas portrait of a young Hungarian soldier from 1918, standing upright with a rifle. The painting, which captures the poignant history of cadet soldiers during the period, has both historical and artistic appeal. Drew is drawn to its emotional depth and distinctive style, negotiating a price of £270, though its value could reach up to £1,200.
€300. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. No rush to sell that.
Making it the highest value item of the day. As Drew continues his hunt, he discovers a set of miniature furniture models, including chairs and sofas, created by Czech designer Hendrik Halabala in the 1930s. These rare salesman samples are highly sought after by design enthusiasts and are valued at around £500.
Today, his furniture is sought after by design devotees, and these models could be worth around £500.
He also uncovers a collection of Soviet-era cigarette boxes, beautifully crafted from bronze with intricate designs in relief. Drew negotiates the price down to £300 for the set of 4, recognizing their decorative and collectible value. Another fascinating find is a pair of aluminium desk models of a missile launcher and a MiG fighter plane from the 1960s. These pieces, with their sleek design, appeal to military collectors and could be worth £300 each. Drew adds them to his haul for €280.
This one and this one, 250.
280, I think that's the mid-range. Okay, deal.
Thanks, mate.
Okay.
Yeah.
The discovery continues with a unique pair of donkey ear trench binoculars from 1950, used to observe enemy lines from the safety of a trench. Drew purchases them for €300, estimating their value to be around £700 due to their rarity.
300?
And 30.
300, we'll have a deal. Yeah?
Okay.
Thank you, mate. Thanks, one.
Overall, Drew is thrilled with the eclectic mix of items he finds. Each piece offers a glimpse into Hungary's rich and complex history. From vintage furniture models to military memorabilia, every purchase is both a conversation starter and a valuable addition to his collection. From Cold War relics to macabre antiques, discover how a former Air Force base in Suffolk became the ultimate treasure trove for collectors. They arrive at an ex-Air Force base to meet Paul Thorpe of Ting's Amazing Things. The base, near Rendlesham, was significant during the Cold War and saw UFO sightings in the 1980s. Paul Thorpe has transformed a former fuel store into a venue for his antique collection. He specializes in Victorian, Georgian, and occasionally macabre items. Paul's business name, Ting's Amazing Things, comes from a nickname given by an old boss. Drew and T are impressed by Paul's unique setting, a blast-proof building from the military era. Drew is particularly drawn to an 18th century English door casing block with original paint, priced at £40. Paul also shows a plaster arm by Domenico Bruciani, notable for its museum-quality craftsmanship, priced at £500. Bruciani's work is valued at around £700, reflecting his historical significance.
Even though it's in need of restoration, this example could be worth around £700.
The corbell's colour and style indicate it came from an industrial region in the northwest of England. Drew also discovers a 19th century carved stone corbel of a male mask with a hat, priced at £800. The team sees 2 cowbone vases, identified as prisoner of war art, priced at £450. Drew is interested in a package deal for the door casing, Bruciani arm, corbel, and bone vases. Paul initially offers the items for £1,450, but negotiates down to £1,250. Drew agrees to the deal, satisfied with the final price. Drew is pleased with his purchases, highlighting their unique and inspired qualities. Paul is thrilled to receive confirmation of his choices from Drew and T, reinforcing his curational decisions. Ronnie Archer Morgan was thrilled to explore an extraordinary collection of vintage powder tins. The owner, who modestly denies being an obsessive collector, has over 1,000 pieces.
It's not obvious at all.
No, it's not obvious.
All these. And how many more have you got?
Probably over 1,000.
Only 1,000?
Yeah, but I'm very cautious.
Her passion began in 1973 when she bought a deco powder tin. Her collection now includes a stunning array of designs, from elegant silver and guilloche enamel to quirky triangular tins.
We had a house but no furniture. I went to an auction, bought a cardboard box full of things, and one of them was a deco powder tin. I fell in love with that.
The collection spans different eras, including Edwardian pieces from around 1910 and others from the 1920s and 1950s. Each piece reflects elegance, glamour, and style, embodying the fashion of the time. One of the rarest items is a jeweled tin with sapphire accents, a true beauty. Other unique pieces, like lipsticks hidden in tassels, showcase the Jazz Age and Hollywood modernism.
This was about the Jazz Age, modernism, elegance, Hollywood, and they're fantastic. And the Minerdia just replaces the handbag.
One standout item on display is valued at £800 to £900. Several others are estimated between £500 and £900. Altogether, the collection on the table is worth around £5,000.
We're talking, on the table here, 5,000.
Oh my God. Oh, right. And I've got 3 daughters speeding towards the house now.
The owner is delighted, but also cautious, as her daughters eagerly approach to see the collection.
Make sure they don't see this when it's recorded.
Oh, gosh, no.
Honestly, it's been a delight just looking at these. I just would like more time to go through them and study them and enjoy them and love them like you.
Oh, Ronnie.
Siobhan Tyrrell was captivated by a simple yet meaningful item at the D-Day Museum. This children's coat once belonged to 5-year-old Betty White from Gosport. Betty lived near the embarkation point for the D-Day landings.
Who lived in Gosport, very close to here, beside the embarkation point for D-Day.
The coat is part of the D-Day Museum's valuable collection. She cleverly asked soldiers for their regimental and cap badges. Her coat now proudly displays 89 badges from various British, Canadian and American regiments.
Canadian, American and other regiments, and not just fighting regiments.
It also includes badges from support units like the Signallers Army Catering Corps. The coat is a touching reminder of the vast scale of Operation Overlord. For the soldiers, it symbolized what they were fighting for, children like Betty. It offers a personal connection to a pivotal moment in history.